Hi everybody, welcome back to those who've been hanging with me for a while. I'm Medea Levine, intuitive and medium, and welcome to those who are new to my channel. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to get into a subject that is a little bit more on the magical side, because I've had people ask a lot of these type of questions, and I kind of slowly showing that I do things, but I always want to say I do things from an intuitive place. This is how I've learned everything from the other realm and intuitively. So I'm going to show you and explain to you how I've learned cloaking. Cloaking is definitely something that is real. You might have seen it in Harry Potter where he actually puts on a cloak and he disappears. Well, it is based on something truly magical, but also an energy manipulation. I guess that's the best way to describe it, because I feel like that's what we're doing is we're manipulating energy. Um, so I'll do other videos on how to push energy out, how to half mask energy. That's when you are kind of going, okay, I don't want people to fully see me or feel me, so I'm kind of half masking it fully. I don't want them to full on feel or see me, so you kind of do this and they can feel you and see you, but you're still protecting. But cloaking is when you completely don't want people to feel or see you. And so one of the ways I've learned about this is organically. I also learned that this is something that's an ancient practice in Asia, in parts of Asia, through somebody who I had did this in front of, and I'll explain the story in a minute. And they were like, yeah, this is an ancient thing. So the way I see energy when I'm doing readings, when I'm actually reading people, is kind of like petals in a flower where the energy opens and it closes. It's like this. And a lot of times, even if I'm reading in person or on the phone, it doesn't matter. I can feel when I say something and people are kind of lifting and they're expanding their energy up and out, and they're kind of coming to life. You know, their energy is just starting to change. And I can tell when I say something that kind of freaks someone out. What I mean by freak someone out, not like this is bad gonna happen, but oh, you might want to like get out in public speak, or you might want to, you know, have to look at things in your life that are not working, you know, where it's just like fear or sadness, or a lot of times definitely fear or realization, and their energy goes in. And when people mean about closed, someone's closed, it's not that they're closed. Like you can read someone who's like this. It's just kind of more like I'm going to hold all my cards close to my chest, and I'm just going to kind of keep my energy sucked into myself. And I'll say that to someone. I say, your whole energy just shifted. I can see the energy just went all the way in. And they'll say, oh yeah, that's so weird. It's because what you said just kind of freaked me out, where I'm like realizing I may have to public speak, or I might have to make these changes. And I know it's true, but you know, it's just, you know, that thing that it doesn't feel as good. And so energy does kind of breathe in and out. So with cloaking, it's more than just pushing your energy in. It's pulling it all the way in so far that people can't see you. So like literally. So I don't mean literally like in Harry Potter where you're walking around invisible. I'm not delusional. I mean people just, you know, this has kind of happened. You've seen this happen where people have even complained, like, it seems like I'm invisible. It seems like no one ever even knows I'm there. You know, you've ever heard this, and you may even say this to a friend, hey, it's because you just kind of keep, you know, you kind of don't let yourself shine, and you don't let people know you. And you may even say this kind of things to someone, or even to yourself, like, I know that I'm doing this, but I'm really scared, and I just really, you know, want to hide. Okay, so with cloaking, so I'll do a video on how you fully expand energy. But with cloaking, you are actually pulling all of your energy in. You're not being like serious, because here's the trick. If you're saying to someone, don't, if you're kind of pushing off a thought or an energy, or even if you're doing this in a magical way with tools or something like this, and if you're saying, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me, it actually pulls the person to want to look at you, because you're sending these sonars out to them. If you, when you're cloaking, you're not trying to say, I'm going to hide, I'm going to hide, I'm going to hide. You're actually pulling all the energy inside to yourself, where you're basically saying, I am just keeping everything, like, I see energy as a sphere, right? And there's energy around us in a sphere. And you're basically going, I'm going to shut that sphere down so low that it's going to pull so deep inside of myself that when I walk around, people won't feel me. And it's kind of the idea that you have to believe in the idea that there's a frequency that we're putting off, and there's a frequency that is hanging around us, and there is. So when you want to cloak, you're basically saying, I'm pulling all of that frequency in. I'm not trying to shine. It doesn't even have to matter what you're wearing. You can wear bright clothes. You can wear things to get attention, because you've seen people who are like, oh, I don't know, I try to get people's attention, they just don't see me. But if your energy is dull, and if your energy is kind of coming from a dead place, because that's pretty much what cloaking is, you're deadening the energy. But you're not getting rid of it, you're just deadening. And you've seen people who kind of purposely want this, or people who don't know why they're doing this, and you're like, well, there's no life to this, to your energy, so it can't feel you at all. So I'll give you an example. There I was sitting in a place, this was many years ago, and I wanted to play with this, and someone walked in who I just kind of did not want. You know how it is. Yeah, didn't want to have a convo with this person. And so I was sitting there, and I pulled all my energy in. Like, you feel it, kind of feel it from your stomach, from your chest, from your head, from your hands. And you focus on pulling it all in, all in, all in. Where you're just pushing everything in, and you're calming it all down, and you can just go deeper and deeper into it. And so I did that. And she walked by, and she didn't see me. And I felt guilty, so I started pushing and pushing my energy out. A little bit similar to I'm trying to push it out now, and she kept pushing it out, pushing it out, pushing it out. And I got to a place where, because I felt a little guilty, and she like walked by, and she said, oh, I didn't know you were there. And I was like, yeah, I kind of did that on purpose, in my mind, obviously. And I said, yeah, well, I was cloaking. And I did tell her that I was cloaking, because it was a magical place that I was in, meaning it was a metaphysical store. And the owner, who I knew, was like, oh yeah, she's cloaking. That's an ancient thing. That's how I found out. I said, oh, it is? And she said, yeah, this is an ancient practice. And I was like, oh, cool. So now I know, like, I know that, what I'm doing is kind of a thing. And so I pushed all the energy out. And so when you want to practice cloaking, you can do it at home, where you kind of do what I did, where you just kind of feel. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be still, but being still can get you there. So you can sit in a chair, and you can kind of imagine, if you want to light candles, if you want to, light up your altar and all that type of stuff. But you have to realize, if you're going to do that, make sure you're going, I'm not doing this to, ignite energy. I'm doing this to help me kind of feel the energy around me, and so I can pull it in, if that makes sense. And then so you can do that there, but I definitely am going to tell you, practice in public. So when I used to teach this to my students, they would start doing it in like a grocery store, in a line, and they would tell me people would start bumping into them. It was like very strange to them, because they felt like no one, people just kept treating them like they didn't see them. And so you want to do this when you're feeling in that space where you're like, okay, I'm going to go into this place I have to go. It might even help people who have anxiety and things like this, but I don't want to be bothered. Okay? It's not obviously Harry Potter, where you're going to cloak so much that you're going to just be walking around and people are like, what? I mean, come on. But however, it can work where you're like, it can also have, you don't want to do it in times that you're like, okay, I got to go for a job interview, or I want to go I want to attract more money to me and things like this. If you're trying to attract things to you in this kind of way, and I'm not saying, I want to be clear, if you go out, if you want to attract money and you did like money stuff and things like that, and you're trying to pull energy towards you, go ahead and do that. But if you are going out, let's say at the same time you're trying to attract that energy and you go, oh, I just want to go to the store and I don't want anyone to see me. Cloaking is very temporary, so don't worry. You can do the cloak and then push your energy back out again. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to be aware of turning it on, turning it off, so to speak, because if you're trying to do other things in your life where you want to pull things to you, this is just really a temporary thing, which is totally cool. What I'm saying is you can do it temporary. This is not meant to do it on a constant basis. This is meant when you're like I was telling you about the example of sitting in this chair, and I've used it many, many, many other times. And sometimes you have to catch yourself and go, this isn't the time. I might feel like, I'm having a little anxiety, but I am going to like a work function or I'm going to a meeting and people do need to see me. Even though I might be having some anxiety, maybe you kind of use it for the first go and then push your energy back out. And so cloaking is a real thing. And some of you may have other ways you've heard about it, but I actually, if you can visualize it, sorry about that, of like a flower that's going in and then going out and going in, the petals opening and closing. I see it as a living, breathing kind of, like I said, like a sphere that's kind of like, pulsating in a sense of the energies kind of going in and out. Because when I see people, and when I see people, period, but especially in readings, but pretty much all the time, I see so many different energies going through that person, meaning like in seconds, a person can be all the way in, they can push their energy out, they can be half mask. The energy that's going through you is a constant state of movement. And so you need to start focusing on that. You could even like journal it down if you want and kind of take note. Like I kind of feel that I was like really, really feeling this kind of high, so to speak, and I felt my energy was way out there. And then something happened, and you can start to take note of what made me kind of pull it in, so you can pay attention. Because reason why you're doing that is because there may be someone that came around, someone who like walked in the door, and suddenly you feel your energy shift. And if you start paying attention to the times this flexation is going on, you'll learn how to cloak, you'll learn how to push out, you'll learn how to half mask. So I'll do some other videos. Go ahead and put some comments below. When I used to teach this, the cool thing is I would stand in front of people and in front of my students, and I wouldn't tell them which one I was doing. I was explaining it to you here. So because your mind gets in the way, you can say, okay, Adela was talking about pushing energy out. Did I really feel it, or was it because she was saying it? You know what I'm saying? So when I taught this in a class, I wouldn't tell people what I was doing. I would stand in front of the class and I would go through the different push out, cloaking, half masking, and they would have to tell, and they would say what they felt. And that's something you can even do yourself. That's why I'm telling you, you can practice it in public, because you'll notice all of a sudden people are kind of drawn to you, all of a sudden people are not. You know what I mean? It's better to do it with you not knowing how people are going to react, so you can get those confirmations and things like that. And so I always say practice, go to a mall, do it in the store, but also maybe journal and keep track if you want to journal, if you just want to note it in your mind, whatever works for you. But notice the times that you're noticing, like, I went to work and everyone was just like, hi, and all of a sudden drawn to me, and you, before you left, pushed all your energy out. Or you go to work and you notice that like it's like you're not there, and did something trigger it? And you'll notice like, okay, what is taking me to this hiding place? And then you can learn how to master it better. You learn how to control it. And that's, to me, what manipulating energy is all about, is learning how to have control over it. So I hope that made sense. And I'm not sure I'm going to title this, because I was like, do people know what cloaking is? Do I need to say cloaking on a magical way. I don't know. I'm going to think about it before I post this. But I hope that this made sense. And I on my Instagram, I did a little poll of did you want me to do on soulmates or cloaking? And it was kind of neck and neck. So I went with the cloaking, I think was on the lead. So I think, but it was pretty neck and neck. It was like a couple of points off on the voting. So since people are really interested in soulmates, I'll maybe do that one next. Go ahead and like comments, and if you notice, if you follow me, I definitely comment back. Subscribe, I appreciate it, and like. And you can follow me on here. You can follow me on Instagram, Adele Levine, all social media, Adele Levine. You can get readings from me or learn about me more at adelelevine.com. Follow and listen The Witch in the Medium, the podcast that I do with my co-host, Mystic Dylan. And thank you guys so much for all the support. I've gotten a lot of cool emails and comments, and I love it. Follow yourself. Listen to your inner self. Don't follow people, teachers, and spiritual teachers, readers, and all of us seers, or we're just here to kind of unlock things inside you, open you up, and send you flying on your way. All right, see you soon.